Michael, why is it important for investors to position themselves before an offering comes around?
Well, David, a lot of these times, these syndications, whether it's ours or others, they fill up rather quickly. I mean, we've had one fill up within 24 hours. Others may take 48 or 72 hours. The point is not a lot of time sometimes to get into these syndications. So what we've done is we've actually started giving our investors a heads up. Sometimes even right after we have a deal under contract, which the downside is it may not close because maybe we discover something in the due diligence process. But a lot of our investors have expressed the frustration that when we get a deal, they have no time to get ready into a deal. And so we're not serving our investors by giving them a heads up and then advising them what they can do to actually get ready to be in the best position to invest in a deal.
So now that we've established its importance, what specific steps can investors do in order to make this happen?
Well, it depends a little bit on the situation. Like the classic situation is someone's investing with IRA funds, right, or some kind of trust or something like that. Sometimes that takes a while. So getting those accounts ready. So for example, sometimes they say, I've heard about this thing about self-directing my IRA, which is great. But if the account is not set up and it's not funded, then it's going to cost time. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 weeks just to get the account set up and funded. So you got to make sure that the account is set up and funded so that you can in the best position to take advantage of that. Or for example, someone says, well, I want to start taking money out of the stock market. Well, that means you actually have to sell something. You have to sell something and you have to call your stockbroker. Are you mentally prepared to have that conversation? And then you have to have that conversation, then you have to have those funds ready to invest. Sometimes it's also a matter of educating yourself, right? So when a deal comes along, there's no time to ask, well, what are the steps to invest? What are the downsides? What's the risk? Who's on the, So you have to get those big questions out of the way, which is why we have people, people can schedule a call with us. They go to nighthawkequity.com, you click the join button, you can have a conversation with David actually, and you can ask some of these questions. We also have a lot of free resources to educate you about the investing process. So get some of those big questions out of the way. So when you get a deal, you're actually just asking deal-specific questions. You're not asking big, more macro questions.
Okay, so we've established that these things can close out very, very quickly. What does the investment process look like? What kind of steps can investors expect to take in order to position themselves to be a part of this one of these opportunities?
Yeah, so I can only speak from us, but we'll give you, like I said earlier, a heads up. Hey, we have this deal on a contract. Get your funds in order. And then what happens is we'll typically do a live webinar. So we'll do a live webinar and the point of that is to get everybody on the same page at the same time. People can watch the presentation. They can learn about the deal. They can learn about the team, our track record, the highlights of this deal, why we like this deal, what the business opportunity is, what is we're gonna renovate, we're gonna increase, do these things. Here are our projections on how I think we might be able to do, and then we allow people to ask questions. And if you're not able to be on the call, there's a replay you can watch. We also have an executive summary PDF you can read the same information. And then at that point, you need here's the process, right? So at that point, you need to be on our investor portal. Now, typically when you have a conversation with us like we just talked about, you go to nighthawkequity.com and you click the join button, you fill out a short form, you have a conversation with David, you're in our system. We're gonna move you into our investor portal, right? So we're gonna actually help you create an account while you have plenty of time to create a login, get situated in the account. Now, if you're on this live webinar, you're already in your account, just a matter of logging in, you'll see the investment opportunity, you click on invest, you learn about the opportunity. If you're not in one of our accounts, let's say you're coming on, you just had the call, and you haven't clicked the activate account link, then we'll help you get into our investor account. Either way, you see the opportunity, and you have a chance to tell us up front if you're invested in the deal. It's called a soft commit. I'm very interested in $75,000, $100,000, and if you tell us you're interested in a deal, then we'll get you into our investor portal. If you're not interested in a deal, there's no need to go in the investor portal. We don't want to bug you about it. So you get into the investor portal, you click on this opportunity, you can download the executive summary again. You can then you can reconfirm your commitment of whatever amount, $75,000, $100,000. And then once you do that, you get to review the legal documents. And the legal documents you're going to review are the private placement memorandum, which is a really long, boring legal document that has every possible disclosure in there about who the operators are, their track records, possible tax implications, the business plan, the operating agreement, all these things. And then there's the actual operating agreement that governs how decisions are made, how profits are split. And then there's something called a subscription agreement that basically says that you've got all these documents, that you're investing a certain amount, and that you certify you're an accredited or non-accredited investor. So you review these documents, you docu-sign them, and once that's done, we'll then give you the wire instructions. Then you wire the funds to the escrow agent. And once that happens, you're officially in the deal, right? So when you sign the documents, you're not officially in the deal yet, because especially if we start filling up at the end, you're only in the deal once the money is actually in the bank account. Because there's some people who, say they want to invest, never do. They actually fill out the paperwork, but they never do. And so if that happens and you come in after the deadline, sometimes we have to wire back some of the money. So that's, David, really kind of the process of the investing process all the way through closing.
Yeah, Michael, that's some great insight into the investment process that investors can expect. So with that in mind, how often do we have deals? And, looking forward a little bit, when can investors expect the next deal to come around?
Well, David, shoot, if I knew that, right? If I knew that, things would be fantastic. Look, if I had a magic wand, I would do a deal precisely every 90 days. That's perfect, right? It allows us to kind of get our ducks in order, but sometimes we can't choose them this way. So, for example, last year, we didn't do a deal until, September, October of last year, and then we did another one literally 6 weeks later. That's not really ideal from an operational or capital raising perspective. Sometimes you just can't choose these things, but typically we would like to do 3 or 4 deals per year. 1 a quarter is really kind of what our goal is if we had a magic wand.
Hey guys, if you want to be a passive investor, just make sure you're on our deal ready list to receive communication about any upcoming deals that we have by signing up for a phone appointment with me by using the link at nighthawkequity.com, clicking the join button and booking a call. Other than that, thanks for your time, and you have a good rest of your day.